In a village, there was a boy named Daniel. From the moment he was born, people started whispering, "That kid won't ever achieve anything," they said. With twisted legs and a fragile body, it looked like Daniel was set for a tough life. Doctors told his mom, "Your son might never walk. Don't push him too hard." But you know what? Daniel's mom refused to accept that. Every single morning, while other children ran freely to school, laughing and playing, Daniel's mother carried him on her back. And as she walked, she whispered words of strength into his ear. "You are not weak, my son," she'd say. "You are a warrior. One day the whole world will know your name." Daniel grew up surrounded by pain, but something else burned inside him, a fire that couldn't be extinguished. While his body might have been weak, his mind was sharp as a tack. He studied harder than anyone else in the village. He spent countless hours studying his books. The other children would mock him, their cruel words cutting deep. "You can't even run," they'd sneer. "How can you possibly dream so big?" But Daniel just kept his head down, focusing on his studies. He believed in his heart that one day, knowledge would give him wings to soar above it all. Life in the village wasn't easy, but nothing could have prepared them for that fateful evening. A storm like none they had ever experienced swept through, bringing total chaos. The wind howled fiercely, almost like it was in pain, while rain pounded against the windows. Then, out of nowhere, there was a loud crack. A huge tree, older than anyone in the village, came crashing down onto Daniel's small house. Inside, Daniel's mother screamed for help. She was trapped beneath the fallen trunk, pinned down by its enormous weight. Neighbors rushed to help, their faces pale with fear. They tugged and pulled with all their might, but the tree wouldn't budge an inch. One by one, they stepped back, shaking their heads in defeat. But Daniel, the boy they had all written off as weak and useless? He refused to give up. Ignoring the pain shooting through his twisted legs, he crawled forward. His thin arms trembled as he placed his hands against the rough bark. And then, something truly miraculous happened. A strength no one thought possible, least of all Daniel himself, surged through his body. With a cry that seemed to come from the very depths of his soul, he pushed. The muscles in his arms swelled and the veins popped out against his skin. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. But then, ever so slowly, the trunk began to move. It wasn't much, just a few inches, but it was enough. Enough for neighbors to reach in and pull Daniel's mother to safety. As she emerged, battered but alive, the entire village stared at Daniel in stunned silence. The boy who couldn't walk had just saved a life. That night changed everything. No longer was Daniel seen as a cripple, a burden to be pitied. Now he was a fighter, a hero. Inspired by what he had accomplished, Daniel refused to let this moment be a one-time miracle. Every single day, he pushed himself harder than before. He found old sticks in the forest, tying them to his legs as makeshift braces. With his teeth clenched and a fierce look on his face, he pushed himself to take small, painful steps. He fell more times than he could count, and his knees were always scraped and bruised. But every time he hit the ground, Daniel didn't see it as a failure. Instead, he viewed it as another lesson learned. Months turned into years. Daniel's progress was slow, but steady. The boy who once couldn't stand on his own learned to walk, and then, defying every expectation, he learned to run. It wasn't graceful and it wasn't fast, but to Daniel, it felt like flying. Daniel never lost his love for learning as he got older. He read every book he could find, and his mind grew bigger than their little village. During this time, a dream started to form in his amazing mind. It was a dream that came from his own struggles, driven by the wish to help others who were just like him. Years passed, and Daniel's hard work paid off in ways no one could have imagined. He was chosen to represent his country in a prestigious world science competition. Standing in front of a huge crowd, Daniel felt strong and confident. He shared his journey, telling everyone about the boy who was once told he would never walk. He talked about his mom, who always believed in him, no matter what. And he shared how his village learned to look beyond what they saw on the surface. But Daniel didn't stop there. He revealed his creation, a machine meant to help kids with disabilities stand and move. As he showed how it worked, explaining the clever mechanics behind it, the audience watched in awe. And then, just like that, they all stood up together. The applause was deafening. Tears streamed down faces, and people embraced complete strangers, overcome with emotion. Daniel had done more than just survive the impossible. He had taken his pain, his struggles, and transformed them into hope for others. Daniel stood there, seeing the love from their cheers. He remembered those words from his mom long ago. "You are a warrior. One day the world will know your name." Looking out at all the faces, with everyone's eyes on him, Daniel realized that day was finally here. But this wasn't the end of Daniel's story. It was just the beginning. He returned to his village, no longer the weak boy they once knew, but a man determined to make a difference. He used his newfound fame and resources to build a school, ensuring that every child, no matter their physical limitations, had the chance to learn and grow. Daniel's life became a testament to the power of perseverance, of refusing to let others define your limits. He traveled the world, sharing his story and his inventions, inspiring countless others to push beyond what they thought possible. And in every place he went, in every life he touched, Daniel carried with him the lessons of that small village, the strength of a mother's love, the importance of seeing potential where others see only weakness, and the unshakable truth that with determination and heart, even the most impossible dreams can become reality. Daniel's journey from a boy who couldn't walk to a man who changed the world serves as a powerful reminder. It reminds us that our greatest limitations often exist only in our minds, that with courage, hard work, and unwavering belief in ourselves, we can overcome any obstacle life puts in our path. So the next time you face a challenge that seems insurmountable, remember Daniel. Remember the boy who lifted a tree to save his mother, the child who learned to run when doctors said he'd never walk, the man who used his pain to bring hope to others. And ask yourself, what impossible dream are you ready to turn into reality?